Hi everyone, my name is Kenzie Dolan and welcome to the New Wave of Witches. I'm the head witch in charge, and tonight we're going to be talking about this new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius. It is quite the talk of the town, and it's because it's falling on the Chinese Lunar New Year, and that doesn't happen every year. There is no coincidence. There is a lot of change that is coming because, like I say, Aquarius is the sign that's most passionate about change. And we are going to be moving from the year of the wood snake to the year of the fire horse, which is a lot of change, a lot of different energy. And so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what is going on in the sky. And I'm going to educate you a little bit more about this new eclipse axis that we're going to be working with, that we haven't been working with in quite some time. So, first and foremost, want to remind you all that the outer planets have been busy since the beginning of 2026. So Saturn and Neptune went back into Aries at the beginning of 2026. And remember, in numerology, 2026 is either looked at as a 1 year or a 10 year, and that's either an ending or a beginning, depending on how you look at it, one being the beginning, 10 being an ending. It could be both. And really, that is ringing true to what Saturn and Neptune have been doing. They've been closing out cycles of their orbits. They have made it through an entire cycle, ending in Pisces and then beginning a new cycle going back into Aries. And so they are going to be meeting up in the sign of Aries, forming a conjunction, which is the strongest aspect in astrology, just 3 days after this new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius, in the sign of Aries at 0 degrees, which is a very critical point. And so this is going to begin a new 36-year cycle. And the last time this happened was in 1989, and Saturn and Neptune met up in the sign of Capricorn, and that is when the Berlin Wall fell. So a big event happened on this big night in the sky, and I can't predict the future, but I would have to say that a big event probably will happen with this conjunction in Neptune and Saturn in the sign of Aries at 0 degrees. You know, really, what the sky is painting is that this is a new beginning on steroids. We have the Chinese Lunar New Year on the exact same day as the new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius. And then 3 days later, we have this conjunction that hasn't happened in 36 years in the first sign of the zodiac in a fire sign at the first degree in astrology, 0 degrees. We cannot make this stuff up. So on February 17th at 7 a.m. in the morning, we're getting things started very bright and early. We have a opening act in a new eclipse story spotlighting Aquarius and Leo. And we haven't had this combination where Aquarius will be having the North Node and Leo will have the South Node. We haven't had this since August of 2009. And really, that story began in February of 2008. So it's been about 18 years since we've worked on this eclipse axis. And, we have had the North Node in Leo and the South Node in Aquarius more recent, and that happened in 2017 and 2018, but that was the 180 of what is happening now. So it's a different story. So a lot of change ahead, and this is going to be a lot of energy. We have Mars in the picture, and there's going to be a lot of transformation. We have Pluto in the picture, and we have transformed. If we think about where we were at this time last year or before we went into the year of the snake, I mean, all of us have transformed. All of us have had to shed skin. And so that's really what, this chart is showing is that we've been coming from a place of transformation. This is a new beginning. It's a new beginning on steroids. This is a pattern maker. Uh, with pattern makers, there needs to be an ending, and we're feeling that with the final shedding. So let's talk about the equation of an eclipse, how to spot it in the chart, and really the geometry of eclipse in the sky. So we can learn a little bit about how astronomically and astrologically both of these things work, and so we can understand the language of everything. So I'm going to be reading from Predictive Astrology by Bernadette Brady. She's one of my favorite authors and astrologers, and she says, when we were children, we learned that a solar eclipse is the passage of the moon across the face of the sun. Our moon, as seen from the earth, appears to be roughly the same size as the sun. For which reason, it has the potential to block out the sun's light. A solar eclipse, if viewed from the right location on Earth, will cause the darkening of a day. Sometimes the moon will only partially cross over the sun, and this results in a less dramatic effect. The whole effect of a solar eclipse lasts only for a few minutes. So the one that we have tomorrow is not a total solar eclipse. It's an annular solar eclipse. So it is that eclipse that gives that ring of fire in the sky, which is quite a spectacle. And if you're in the path of that, you'll be able to see that. And you can learn about the path in Big Nights in the Sky. But this is only going to last for a couple minutes, but we will still be feeling the effects of the solar eclipse, even though it's very quick. Now, let's talk about how to spot whether it's a total or a partial solar eclipse in the chart. So, if you look at the chart, we have the sun and the moon at 28 degrees Aquarius, 49 minutes. We have the node in a different sign at 8 degrees Pisces, 56 minutes. So, off the bat, you might be looking at this and being caught off guard that this is even an eclipse because the node and the sun and the moon are in different signs. But let me educate you on how this is an eclipse. So she writes in the same book, the new or full moons do not have to be exactly conjunct the north or south nodes for an eclipse to occur. The following are the orbs for when a full or new moon will convert to an eclipse. So we'll just focus on solar eclipse tonight. A new moon occurring within 18 degrees, 31 minutes of the north or south node can be a partial solar eclipse. If it is within 15 degrees, 21 minutes of either node, then it must be a partial solar eclipse. If the new moon occurs between 9 degrees 55 minutes and 11 degrees 15 minutes of either node, then the eclipse can either be total or partial. If the new moon is between 0 degrees and 9 degrees 55 minutes of either node, then it must be a total solar eclipse. So when we look at this chart, we see that we are working with a 10-degree orb, give or take. As a Placidus astrologer, we go up to the 29th degree, 59 minutes. And so just looking at this, ballparking it, we're working with 10 degrees because, you know, that's what we're working with. So we're in the category where this could either be a partial or a total eclipse. And we know just with our friends at NASA that it's going to be an annular eclipse. It's not going to be the alignment isn't perfect. So we know that for a total eclipse to happen, the alignment does need to be perfect. And that could be because the node, the ecliptic orbits, and the sun and the moon are in different parts of the sky. One being in the part of the sky ruled by Pisces, and the other being in the part of the sky ruled by Aquarius. There could be some truth to that. Um, so that's just something to think about. Now, let's talk about this eclipse story and how long it's going to be with us and when we will be like experiencing and seeing all this change. So maybe the change will be with you tomorrow, or maybe you'll just feel a little bit more of a fire in your belly or more uh, energy. But maybe you won't see the change until a year from now or 6 months down the road. So let me give you this eclipse journey that we will be on with Aquarius and Leo. And I'll tell you also when the North Node will move into Aquarius, so you have that as well. But let's go ahead and just begin with this opening act. So it happens on February 17, 2026. It's a solar eclipse in Aquarius, and it's at 28 degrees. The next eclipse in this eclipse story will be on August 12th, 2026, and it'll be a solar eclipse in Leo at 20 degrees. The third eclipse will be February 6th, 2027, and it will be an Aquarius solar eclipse at 17 degrees. The next one will be August 2nd, 2027, and it will be a Leo solar eclipse at 9 degrees. The fifth eclipse is going to stand out. It will be the first and only lunar eclipse in this eclipse story and will be in the sign of Aquarius at 24 degrees. And the sixth and final eclipse in this eclipse story that will wrap it up in the signs of Aquarius and Leo is on January 26, 2028, and it's an Aquarius solar eclipse at 6 degrees. And that will close this cycle, and we won't refer back to it for another 18 years. So if you're an Aquarius or a Leo, you are going to be heavily affected. And if you go to Big Nights in the Sky, I talk about the shedding that needs to happen because even though we're moving out of the wood snake year, the shedding continues in Western astrology, especially when, a sign has the South Node. There is a responsibility to shed, and that sign is kind of in the hot seat. But Leo likes to get hot, so I'm not too worried. Let's go ahead and talk about when the North Node enters Aquarius. It will be happening on July 26, 2026. The North Node enters Aquarius, South Node enters Leo. So just kind of keep that in the back of your head. But this is opening up eclipse season in 2026. There's a lot of power behind this lunation. Like I said, it is a new beginning on steroids. And if you're ready for change, it's coming. It is coming. So I'm going to let you all go. It's going to be a short one, but you can catch me in the next New Wave of Witches on March 2nd, where we'll be going over that lunar eclipse in Virgo to close up eclipse season in the winter. And I look forward to speaking to you all about that one.